Mother Nature protects us. We protect Mother. Ebon Kim. Hello everybody, how's it going? This one may be a short one, so there won't be much. Probably an hour, I think. We'll see. Sorry for the interview. I'm re-recording it from DLive. DLive was able to get the sound from the interview guests, Common Sense Adventure and Political Adventure. It was weird because I was pretty tired. I think I was kind of falling asleep in the interview, and I didn't really want to. It's just I was exhausted. But I guess I'll just go over my experience. It's very interesting, and I'm still learning from it. There's lessons to be learned, and it's very simple. Hi Rob, hi Eric. It's very simple. It breaks it down what things are very simply. I went in there looking for questions, and I got to know who I was. I am me. Not just this, just everything. And it's different than anyone else's experience because I listen to other people's experiences, and I have something that's definitely opposite of what David Icke is saying. But hey, that's a surprise. No surprise, I guess. So the simple thing is, and it's weird when you're going through it. So I drank basically a mug full. What I would drink of a mug full of coffee is pretty sizable. And I was just sitting there on my wardrobe chair in the living room, just waiting for something to happen. And you know, it felt like forever. I was just looking outside through the window, just the trees. And my family was sleeping upstairs. And it slowly came. And the first thing you feel is a presence. And they're correct. It's like it's a female presence, but to me it was a motherly presence. It was basically, I would call it Mother Earth. And she was trying to teach me just the simplest lesson, the main lesson, the first lesson, in that she was in pain, a lot of pain. And she was hurting, she had so much burden, and she was carrying the burden for everyone. And she would keep doing it so. And so I was like tearing, just tears coming out of my eyes. I didn't, at the point I didn't vomit or diarrhea. People will say you'll get that, and yeah, probably will. So I was just tearing, and it was like, I couldn't handle it just because what I was thinking through my head is I don't want you to carry that burden. It shouldn't be carried alone. And that someone needs to pick up that burden, but no one is. And so I took that burden. I felt the pain. I felt the burden, the insurmountable amount of weight that she had to carry. And eventually, after a while, after a couple more lessons were learned, I realized, when I fully realized who I was, it gave me incredible strength, incredible power. And that because I faced that pain, I willingly took it on, it made me stronger than anything. And it was just an amazing feeling that I was just ready. I was ready. A lot of people want to stay there, from what I hear. But me, I wanted to come back. I wanted to fight. That's what it is. I was just I'm ready. This is the stance I was taking. I was moving fast. I was moving quick. If you guys don't know, I've had my back hurting for over a week now. Back is good. I don't feel anything. I remember early on, I was thinking I wanted to feel the full effects. I didn't want to throw anything up. I didn't want to diarrhea at all. Um, and I wasn't in fear. It's just I don't know why I wasn't. I just don't have fear. I mean, there are some things that scare me, but it was me just overcoming my fear and just letting go. And there were, I don't know if there were anything else out there, but I just sensed the mother, and I surrendered. I was like, okay, show me. And she showed me. I remember just laughing. I mean, first the first one is just the pain. She'll show you how much pain there is, and that in order to feel this pain, how's it going, Garden? And in order to feel this pain, you had to experience the joy of life, what it brings, and why she's carrying all this pain and burden, because of all the joy everyone else gets to experience. But they don't want to take that pain and that burden. They just want to experience the joy. And so it's kind of like a greed thing now that I think about it, that everyone's just so focused on just getting the joy out of life, they don't realize all the things that are hurting around them. And so that was that first lesson in taking that burden, taking that pain, and just willingly wanting to have it, and just realizing that just being able, wanting to do that just made me stronger than anything. It's incredible. There are things I probably won't tell you because I think it's just personal and there are reasons for it. And but I'll tell you, like, all the nitty gritty diarrhea stuff. Oh yeah, that stuff is coming. You'll see. And the second, there's a couple of the second lesson was just how words interplay, whatever language that you're in. For me, it was English. How it was just simple wordplay to make me understand everything. And once I saw the simplest of wordplays, I think it's just so simple. I was just thinking how amazing it was, just how simple it was. And I understood everything. I did. I didn't have questions to ask. I didn't have, I didn't go looking for answers. I just knew, okay, I know what I need to do. I know what I need to do, and it's just a fight. And those a couple more lessons, but eventually the overall message is I need to fight, because what's out there is darkness, and then there's light. But the light's there so we can see what we're fighting. So I can always see what we're fighting, because without the light we can't see what we're fighting. But it's not to win. It's not to conquer the light. It's not to conquer the darkness. It's to keep life going. And keep life going, you need to create action. You always need to fight. You always need to move. You always need to it's almost like a ritual. It's like a back and forth. There's a balance. And for me, I was the person who's going to keep everything in balance. I was not the person, but the being. Or I was going to fight to keep that balance. And balance is everything, because once the balance goes off, there's bigger likelihood of just everything ending, life ending. And that's what we're here for. And now that I kind of think about it, existence is what we're fighting for, life. And this is the exist stance. Simple play on words. It's just so weird how that goes. And what you end up feeling and seeing are vibrations. And to me, fighting and not having constant light and constant dark, that's why there's vibration, there's movement, there's action. That's what creates life and keeps life going. And so my part is to keep the vibrations going, whether it's through visuals, whether it's through sound, music, whatever it is, it's just to keep the music going. And then before I realized it's kind of the same moment, it blends in, but it's not really. I saw the shadow. So the shadow of, I could say, maybe it was the devil. I don't know. It was the shape of it, Satan. You know, the thing. But it's a trick. That's all it is. It's just a trick in the shadows. There can't be shadows without light. So light needs to exist in order for life. But within that light creates the shadows, darkness that doesn't have anything. It can't create anything. It just exists to trick the people who see in the light. So and I was just talking how I just laughed at it, and that's what it is. So I was just saying, I'm gonna fight you. I'm always gonna fight you. You'll never win. I'll never let you win. I'll never let myself win, and life will always keep going. And it was just so simple that I wasn't worried about evil or whatever it is. And it's just tricks. I mean, once you notice it and you just say, "Yeah, I'm not worried about it." No, you don't have fear. That's the thing. You don't really have fear of anything. And then it took me to the cycles of life, and mother protects a baby, and it was Mother Earth, and then eventually. And she was controlling me. It was like I was being controlled because I surrendered. So she was making me walk, making me go upstairs, whatever. I allowed it, and it was fine. There's just a lot of respect. And once you start getting up into that place where everyone says they go to, I burped a lot. I was burping. I wasn't farting that much, but I was just burping. It's just a lot of gas. And the more deeper I'd go, it was like hypnosis. I've never experienced hypnosis before, and it was just, and even though I've hypnotized people, and you get to almost get to the point, and your body lets go, and you burp more, and then like I was like, I don't need to vomit. I want to experience all the effects. I can handle it. I'll take the pain. I'll take whatever it is. But it wasn't about taking the pain. It was just about letting go. So for me, unlike other people, I didn't experience death, and I didn't experience the male entity out there, the more powerful force of the male, of the mother. And there's a reason why for it. So I didn't experience death. I didn't feel the presence of that. So I eventually, diarrheaed, and I was like, okay, I'm ready to go. And then I went, and then I realized who I was, what I had to do, what I was capable of doing, but what holds me back, and why I hold back. And when I was starting to come back, because I said I want to come back, because I'm ready. I want to fight. I want to do what I need to do, because now I know what I need to do. And because it's to protect Mother, because Mother protects us. I protect Mother, and then you get to see the cycle of being a baby, being an adult, being a baby, being an adult, and through my child's eyes, Roland, because I'd witnessed him. He loves bananas, so he'd eat bananas. And the funny thing is, this is where it gets into signs and symbols. So symbols, especially when you're looking at the occult, it's there to make you not look at the signs. The signs are there. When you look at the signs, when you put it all together, you'll realize that those are signs and they're not symbols. So one of the signs was, like, I went to the grocery store that day, and I got some bananas. So I got really, really, really green bananas, and there's one not green banana. And so I got that not green banana because I figured one of my kids might eat it that day, but they didn't. So I picked out that banana. That was the only banana that was really ripe enough to eat. That was fresh, and so I was eating it like I was a baby. I had like just probably bananas all over my mustache, my beard. Yeah, and I looked at the banana, and the banana had, um, you know, when you peel a banana and you see the banana inside with the peels, it looks like it's cradling a baby, and I just thought, huh. Um, and then I was looking for other fresh fruit to eat because I was coming back. I needed to compose myself of matter, but I also needed to make sure that I needed to take in the poison. So the poison of just stuff that's not fresh fruit. So anything that's just like processed bread was there, and that I ate. I had to choose between water or lemonade that I made that day, and I chose the lemonade. Um, and the poison, I wanted to take it all in. That's part of the life is that the poisons aren't going to affect me like how it would have affected me before I took this journey. And the like I'd be eating this fresh peach and I just let it just dribble all over. And what I always do is I clean up Roland with his bananas or peaches, but I was just a baby. It put me in this position of baby, how I'm just eating it and I have no control over it. I have no inhibitions. I didn't care about political correctness or that I was making a mess, just like a baby does. And the thing is, mother doesn't care. The mother form, spirit, whatever you want to call it, I don't know. And and but I, in order to make sure that there's action, always cleaned everything up. So I realized that there's a ritual, there's always a cycle, and that I was wrong before, that I wanted to end the system, but no, the system has to keep going on, the cycles have to keep going on, and there's always going to be this cycle, and that's life. That's how life keeps going, is just continuing the cycles. And rituals help, and in the end, uh, I'm walking around, but I realize I'm stumbling. But it's because I'm stumbling because that's how my son, he's learning to walk. He stumbles, and that I go back and forth between being the child baby to me, my form, and realize, okay, I know who I am. I know what I have to do. I'm no longer a babe. I see why. What this pattern is with the father and the son and the mother. And I went to my daughter's room because I checked up on my Roland's room. He was in his crib. I looked into my room, and that was my wife and him sleeping. And so I went to my daughter's room, and I was, what's my daughter's part in all this? And it showed me the part with her, and I don't have to worry about her. She's part of the female's, I don't know, nature, the mother nature, and that the mother will protect her. But the thing is, there's no one to protect a mother, so that's why we have to protect mother. I am part of it, and the thing is, by protecting mother, and by mother protecting us, we can grow strong. And once we get strong enough, we are so much more powerful than the mother. It's incredible how much power it is, but we couldn't get that power without the mother. So it's the symbiotic cycle relationship, and it's family. Family is what creates this strength, and there's more to go into it because everything's broken down so simply within that state of mind or whatever it is, consciousness. Now, trying to explain all this in words is very difficult because it should be just so easy. And one of the things that I'm reflecting on is, it's like I was saying, it is the entity of the darkness, the shadow, the evil, whatever. It has no form because it could take on any form. And so when I think about it, is we take in the good stuff, we don't vomit it out, except I vomit out all the bad stuff, just like the diarrhea. It vomits out all the bad stuff, and then but nothing goes up like it's the reason why the excrement comes out your butt and what we call it is shit. If you think about the wordplay, it's shit. That's the bad part. So that was just one of those things. I was like, oh, and I'm giggling the whole time. I'm smiling the whole time. I'm burping a lot. I'm always burping every once in a while, and the more I burp, the lighter I get. It's the more I float, whatever it is that you want to call it, is that I'm ready to take off. And then finally, the culmination is I finally am there. I'm at the part where you get to see and experience what's outside of whatever realm we're in, Earth, what have you. And it was short, it was brief, and I didn't need to be there long because I already knew. But it just showed us the form of us, our true us, and it was moving. It was brilliant. It was vibrating. It was alien. It was us, but we didn't have to fear it. I wasn't afraid of it, and that's the point that we're going to. The stuff that we see now, our skeleton forms and stuff like that, it's not really us, and we everything is inverted. And I went through that lesson of inversion. And if you think about a lot of the occultism and things that you want to look into now, symbolism, you can, and it's good because I think if anyone has all the answers or the answers given or someone wins, it's the end. That's the end of the cycle. It's life's over. So questions and always seeking, always looking, always having answers, never leaving things alone. You always want to clean up a mess to leave room for more mess. Creates this cycle of movement and action. But once you get to the point of no action at all, that's when things break down, things are worse. It's not necessarily about time. Time is something that you might have came up with to just get through these cycles and these rituals. But it's not about time. You realize that you're outside of time, but things progress, and it doesn't matter what cycle you're in. It's gonna go through whatever cycles there are, or if you want to call them ages. And we're really at an early age, early cycle of the culmination of what we're going to get to eventually. And it's my takeaway is the mother is protective, nurturing. The father is, for me, it's all about patience. I've always been patient. Just that's why I try to instill in my kids. And when the wordplay is pay sins, so you're paying for the sins. At least I am. That's my part of it, and that's part of taking on the burden. And there's so many people that took on the burden as well. You can call them whether it's Jesus and also Lucifer. What I saw with the Lucifer part was there was just one of whatever it was, just either darkness or light, but someone had to fall in order to keep to create life and keep it going. So Lucifer chose to take on that role, to fall. And then a lot of the people that we're supposed to fight, people who lose their way, that they don't want to protect Mother, and these are the people who make Mother hurt. And I kind of see it through all these cycles in just the past, or what we would call the past. And what we need to do is not to have a lot of this happen. And part of it is also keeping, because Mother will always provide for us. And so what we need to do is be able to protect Mother so she can protect us. You know, it's that cycle again. And I realized with my brother, because he's divorced, he doesn't have any kids, he protects our mother, both our mothers, and he provides for me when I need it. I don't ask, but I realize I'm also there to keep him. I'm my brother's keeper, because he won't go to the part where I'm at, where I experience and I know what I need to do and what I'm capable of. But because he doesn't have the family system and he won't understand the cycle and what he would need to do. I'm here to keep him as part of the family, and he'll eventually get to the point. And the ultimate patience part is no one's going to be left behind. Whatever the end happens, whenever it happens, however far we get to before either it ends badly or it ends in a mysterious whatever happens way, no one's gonna leave until everyone is ready. And so that's the greatest patience, kind of a story of Jesus. He paid for his sins so he can't experience the joys, and allows everyone else to have it. But that age, that cycle has to repeat all the time, and someone has to take that burden. And it's an interesting thing. I don't have the answers because I don't want the answers, because life is about the mysteries, and as long as there are mysteries, people will seek to solve those mysteries, and within that there will be action and vibration and movement, and that's how you keep fighting for life. That's why you keep going throughout the pain, because there's the joys and there's just a myriad of other things. But what the worst part is just you can't just have one or the other. It has to be a balance of both. That's the vibrations that we see. That's why when you see a pulse of light, it needs to be broken down to ripple, to vibrate. Same thing with just darkness. You want particles, beams, whatever of light. That way it becomes what it needs to become. It's just so weird. I can't explain it with just words, like I said. But there's just a lot of stuff like that. And my main takeaway is people don't need to worship. They don't need to believe in religion. They know what there is, and everything that's out here with the symbols is just an illusion. It's the shadows playing tricks on you. And a lot of that is one of the things that I just recently thought of is when you look at the Bible's not going to give you the answers. You'll know what the answers are. It's just so obvious. What the Bible does is it takes what was and reverses it. And everything that the shadow does to play tricks is to inverse it. So when you're reciting for the Bible, you're in verse. Do you get it? You're in verse. Which part of the Bible? Oh, this verse. In verse. So it's not exactly how you think it is. It's that entity, that's the shadows that are playing tricks. And so for me, it's about fighting. So it's about verse us. It's us. We are what makes us powerful, what makes each individual powerful. And once people realize how that is, there's really nothing to worry about. As long as we keep fighting, it doesn't matter. And you're going to be okay. And that's all I have to say. That's it. That's my experience.
It sounds like you had a powerful experience. I mean, I understand, like, a lot of the things you're talking about, they're so hard to express.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've had visions where, like, one of my visions was I saw a woman, and when you're having these visions, you're aware that they're visions. Okay, you're not. I mean, you feel removed from the quote physical realm or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
but you know that, like, you are still you, and you are still in a certain place in time, or all it takes is a second to refocus and you're back to reality, in a sense.
It took me a while. Like, I kept thinking, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm here. All right, let me get to work. And then it pulsates again to another level. So it's like you're going.
It's like waves.
Yeah, it's a wave. So that wave comes and it's there to teach me a lesson, and it won't let me get ready to go until I realize that lesson, and then I realize, okay, I'll be patient. And then
you can physically feel the wave.
Yes.
Like, like I've been there where I'm just kind of holding on to the arms of the chair that I'm on because of the movement sensation. I mean, I don't see myself moving,
Yeah.
but it feels like I'm on a roller coaster.
Like when I went the whole thing, like all the vomit, the diarrhea, the things that I looked up, it really happened, but the physical matter wasn't there. I didn't see any excrement. I didn't see any vomit.
Did you like
But
shit yourself? Like,
no. I was. She made me. She was able to walk me or have myself walked towards the toilet, and I was fine. I was just waiting. I was basically just burping up everything, and but even with all that going on, I realized there's nothing. There's nothing. I looked around. Is like, did it really happen? And then I redid everything that I did because I actually did a search on my laptop, a Google search, and that Google search came up, and I remembered it. So I did it in real life just now, and it gave me the exact same results.
When in normal life, what you do is you just kind of retrace your steps, like from a half hour, a few moments ago, or whatever, right? But when you're tripping like that, it's very hard to do that. Like, you know, if you fall into the pattern of, okay, I just went over here, or I was going to go do this, or like something like that, you'll get confused. And
Yeah, I wasn't confused, but I saw exactly
or
what
you'll
I
go
saw
into
now.
that
What I saw then.
autonomous mode, you know?
Yeah. So my MER is hasn't gotten her mic working yet. She's still
I mean, it
getting
sounds
used to it.
like you externalized it where like you felt there was a guiding force
There
guiding you
was.
to do things.
So it was eventually while as you're getting out of this realm, whatever you call it, there's almost like a grid. It is kind of like a matrix. It's just like a vibrational grid, and part of that is when I realized what I was, I absorbed that grid, and it was exactly like the Matrix when you see Neo. Just how when he realizes he's the one, he just you know just feeds it all in, and that's what it was for me. Is just I fed it all in, and I realized, hey, this is just nothing. I mean, I could do whatever I want here, but the thing is, if I do whatever I want, then there's a chance that it all ends, and that's what I don't want. And every time I get kind of sidetracked into something else that's not what my main purpose is, which is to protect Mother, I stop myself back. I go, nope, I'm here to fight, protect Mother. That's what it is. And that was my driving force. That was my the result of all this. That's why that's all it is for me. It's just to fight. It's not to win. It's not to lose. It's just to fight and keep the balance going, and that keeps life going. Not to
I'm
give
very
out.
glad it was a meaningful experience for you.
Oh, thanks, Persis. Yeah, and it's so simple because I was like, I was expecting like a 12-hour experience, and I think it only took like 5 hours. So I was waiting, expecting to see more because when I was watching other people's accounts or listening, there's a lot of accounts where just people die over and over again, or they meet this male presence that's vast and huge and all powerful, and I didn't experience any of that. And a lot of them wanted to stay there. I didn't want to stay there. I want to come back just to fight. And then another part of it was I didn't really want to stay there to know things. I felt like I chose not to know things because if I chose to know things, then it would just spoil all the joys that would come. You know what I'm talking about with Dune and the Kwisatz Haderach, right? Garden.
Well, yeah, he can see into the future,
Yeah.
so it just fucks up his
Yeah.
whole life.
Exactly. So I didn't want to do that. I wanted life as a mystery and keep going. And as long as I'm fighting for Mother, to protect Mother, she's going to protect me. And I'm just immensely strong. And I feel like I could I could do anything. I feel it's just strong. Like my core is strong, and my back doesn't hurt at all. I feel like the cleanest, the healthiest I've ever been, and I'm not even in good shape. And I don't even want to drink coffee. I don't want to eat stuff with sugary foods. I just want to eat fresh stuff. But I also know I also want to eat poison, like processed stuff, because that keeps me more grounded to handle the pain, handle the burden and stuff like that. Just be here to keep fighting, because I need to keep that balance. Otherwise, too much purity, pure evil, too much chaos. They're both bad. Um, so that's why these cycles of cleaning and making a mess and cleaning and making a mess, because as you grow older, you're always going to clean up the mess of the kids. But the kids, they don't care about cleaning up. They just make the mess. They don't realize there's anything out there as for being a mess. And then it relates to my wife and motherhood, just in general. And I get to live through and enjoy these moments. And how, for example, my wife, she'll burp and whatever and not hide it. She just always says, "Excuse me," and like she doesn't care. And that's mother. Mother doesn't care. She'll eat off the ground. So one of her things was, I've got typically what I do is I wash the fruit that I eat, but because I wanted to that the dirt is part of her, the mother nature, and the poison, that I just took the like cherries and I just ate it without washing it. I don't know if I really did that because I don't. It was just weird, yeah. But that's what I did in that experience. But whether I actually did that with real cherries or not, I didn't find any remnants of cherry pits.
Cherry pits.
Yeah.
If you don't mind me saying,
I
it
just ate
sounds
some
like
cherries.
you were. If you don't mind me saying, it sounds like you were more manifesting as a masculine presence in this protective and natural connection kind of way, rather than externalizing it.
What do you mean by externalizing it?
Well, I find that a lot of people who go into psychedelic experiences, they tend to externalize a lot of the experience as it's coming from the outside, not coming from within them.
Oh
And a
yeah.
lot of people say they feel a presence or they feel like a guiding force. In my experience, though, I think that that's really just my own instinct or confidence pushing me forward. I don't externalize what I'm feeling when this is going on. And it sounds more like you're doing that rather than having externalized uh, the embodiment. Okay, I'm trying to figure it out. Like your masculine essence was activated. I don't know really how to put it other than sounding weird.
No, yeah, I agree. It's I noticed that I didn't, when people talk about their experience, they say they hear a voice. I didn't hear a voice. I was talking out what was being presented to me. So I was repeating in my own words in English uh, how to figure out what I needed to know in order to learn that lesson and move to the next wave or level, whatever it was, to learn the additional levels until I was ready to come back. So
See, I tend not to externalize either. But when we're talking about these subjective experiences, I mean, there is no like objective truth to them in a lot of ways. So the fact that someone externalizes these experiences isn't a bad thing. I mean, it helps people to understand. Everyone has to understand these quote mysteries in their own way.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and people have been through this, like what you were talking about with that grid, and there was like only so much you wanted to know. Like occultists have a term for that, and it's called the chapel perilous. And like you were at the door of what they would call the chapel perilous, where you open it up to a new level of sensory awareness, and you know maybe there's more realizations there that are even greater and harder to handle. You know, and that's maybe what kind of freaks people out is like you get to that point where you're afraid to open the door to the next level,
I wasn't afraid.
or you choose not to.
Yeah, I
You know,
chose not to. There's
Oh, I have a quick question.
I mean, you can turn away from it for more reasons than just fear.
yeah, but it's the thing is, because of the total surrender to the mother entity, presence, mother nature, whatever it was, that I let go of all my fear. Just like a baby just lets go of their fear when they're in their mother's arms. Whatever's going on, whatever fear that they have, whatever problems, they don't care. They don't fear when they poop on their mom. They don't fear when they vomit on their mom.
It's drifting. It's letting the waves like take you where they will.
Yeah. All right, Perseus, you're gonna ask a question.
Oh, I was just going to ask, did you take a oral preparation in terms of drinking, or did you smoke the DMT?
It was just like tea.
Oh, okay.
It was like
Because I've heard that smoking it is extremely different from ingesting it orally.
In what
like,
way?
In terms of the intensity and length of the experience.
Okay.
With smoking, it's like a very intense 15 minutes of you have no control whatsoever, whereas you have more room to negotiate the experience with ingested.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I thought it would last like 10 to 12 hours, but it only lasted 5 for me. And I felt like I didn't need to sleep. If I didn't want to. I didn't need to eat if I didn't want to. And then realization that if I wanted to stay here and fight, that I needed to. I had to become matter conscious, I guess. So I do need to sleep. I do need to eat. I need to do all the things that keeps me here. But when I'm not here anymore, just the power that I have, I just laugh. It's just incredible. It's just people. I just wish people could experience that. Just how much power that they have, that we have.
These are cleansing experiences. Like psychedelics are so valuable. I mean, they really could transform the way people look at the world.
Yeah.
And they're demonized.
Yeah, they are.
It's funny, the root of the word too, interestingly being like daemonia in Greek, meaning like the concept of a disembodied intelligence. So the idea of demonizing psychedelics is links directly into that.
Well, they're demonic by nature, if you're going to use that terminology.
But because you do see the light side and you do see the dark side, I can see why people get scared, because you will see the demonic entities that play in the shadows, that form in the shadows, and maybe someone's experience isn't the same as mine. Where for me, I was just ready to fight. It didn't matter, and I just knew I was just so powerful. It didn't even matter. I could win at any moment, at any time, but I chose not to, because that would just end the game, end the life, end the existence. So I just keep it going, and a lot of it plays into the stuff that's happened in your past, of how you grow up, how your thoughts have formed since you were a kid, and whether you continue it to this day or not. It reflects all of that, and it ties it all in, and it shows you that as a lesson of who you are. And knowing who you are is just incredibly powerful. And you realize, I think that's what people should find, not the answers to life. They should find who they are, and they find who they are and what they want their purpose to be. They're gonna be strong enough. That's where the healing comes in. You realize how strong you are, and that you'll take that pain, you'll take that limitation, and that it just makes you so much stronger, and it heals you. It's a weird way of seeing things.
Well, occultists also have a term for what you're describing there, and they call it the Hall of Mirrors. When you enter the Hall of Mirrors, begin to see these reflections of yourself. Some of them aren't so pleasant. And in the case like with people that externalize it, like they see things like devils and whatever, like something that scares them.
Yeah, so
you see all kinds of reflections, and you see the good ones as well,
So near the end, I mean, the first shadow was just the shadowy form of what you would see, like the typical Satan, but just imagine it just entirely encased in shadow. And then near the end was just imagine, what's that show on Netflix, Stranger Things? You know, that big dark shadow just kind of starts creeping, moving, and all the stuff in the background in the sky. I think it was the second season. It was like that, but I was like, that's. I was just laughing at how powerless it was, and that was just shadows, and I was just ready to fight, and I wasn't even ready to fight. I was just like, psh, and it just kind of dispersed. It's just like it realized that it couldn't affect me with its trickery, I guess. It's shadows. So it's very I don't know. I just don't see how I could have just imagined it. I mean, it would just be because I took marijuana before, and it wasn't anything like that. That one was.
That makes it sound so clinical.
Yeah, maybe. Because I could tell that in marijuana, it was just messing with my perception of time and intensifying just whatever my thoughts were and just kind of quickly cycling them. But here, it was just, pulsating, pulsating, lesson, pulsating, lesson, pulsating, lesson, and then I'm.
So waves and peaks.
Yeah, and then
right?
Yeah, and then I'm just not floating. Is like I could be wherever, anywhere, see or do whatever I want to see, but I just wanted to just see who we were just as a collective, and I saw it, and to me it looked alien, but it was beautiful. That there wasn't anything to fear for it, and hopefully that's, and it doesn't matter how we end up or if that was who we were, but it's just.
Did you see or experience anything that could be described as the hill of the navel?
I don't know. Hill of the navel. Can you explain that?
Well, okay, so the Hill of the Navel was a holy site that was operating like between 8,000 and 9,000 years ago or something like that. It operated for about 1,000 years before it was intentionally buried. And there's a lot of mother goddess fertility symbolism that can all trace itself back to that site.
No. All I saw up there was just us in our natural form that either we are, were, or going to be, and I just realized how we are nothing like what that was, but that was us, is us. Time, I don't see it as a time thing, because when I was in part of that, whatever it was, experience, I saw myself outside of what we typically call time, and basically what time was existing within the cycle of that family. So I could have existed in the cycle of a family from previous ones or in the future ones. It didn't matter, but I wanted to enjoy the cycle of the family that I have now, which is me, my wife, and my kids. And it changed. It changed me in my outlook and what I want to do and what I'm capable of. And that's another thing, is people don't realize how much what they're capable of and how much they can do. And you could go for fame, you could go for money, you could go for material if you wanted to out of this experience. But it's not gonna teach you anything. That's all I'll say about that.
Yeah, the marijuana is completely different from psychedelics.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can take a level of marijuana where you really kind of lose track of time and like kind of really get confused about where you're at and what you're doing. But it's not like the psychedelic experience.
Yeah.
And different psychedelics will provide you with different experiences. Like, I've never done ayahuasca.
No, me neither.
very similar to like peyote.
Oh yeah. So part of it. Have you guys watched Young Guns when they take peyote?
Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
that.
So it was like that for me. I noticed my voice being so like slow and deep. You know, like, was this the dream world?
It's like all your
That's
sensations are hyped up, like you're enjoying like fruit dripping down your face, like
yeah. I mean,
like
I
you just enjoy like all like the little sensations that normally you just ignore.
yeah. But yeah, just
I actually found that
it's weird.
mushrooms made me extremely horny, and I'm not sure if it was just a matter of my senses being heightened or if it was something to do with them or not.
I don't know. I
Well, the vision I was talking about the woman in the she was standing in like in it was very reminiscent of Venus de Milo, right? Except she was like standing in like this kind of basin of water, and she was made out of metal, and there were like static sparks coming off of her and like all over the place. I had just closed my eyes and I was allowing myself to experience this vision, right?
hmm
I wasn't truly externalizing it. But like for me it was more erotic. It wasn't about like mother. It was about like Aphrodite.
Okay.
Like I had that kind of experience with that, kind of female force that you're talking about.
In a
Um.
very like heavy metal kind of style.
It,
Yeah.
you know,
So
it was it was very real. It was very very real. Like as long as I kept my eyes closed and focused on it.
Oh, I know exactly what you mean as far as that goes.
Anyways, I need to kind of end it pretty soon so I can help out somebody. Um. Anything in the closing moments, I guess. Sorry, Marimiar.
I'm glad you're able to get some wisdom off of it, dude. It sounds like you did.
Yeah, and it's a very humbling experience, and that's the first lesson is humble and respect. And if you don't learn those lessons, I don't think I don't think you're gonna get anything that you want out of it, because it's not about getting what you want out of it. It's the mother spirit telling you what you need to know. Otherwise, you're not gonna learn anything, and the experience you're not gonna you just have to respect that and surrender, and she'll give you the answers that you all you need. And the answer is simple. It's just she shows you who you are. Once she shows you who you are and you know who you are, you have all the answers that you ever need if you want it. And that's and I don't feel the need. I said I don't need to come back. I've got what I needed. So a lot of people want it. They want a second, third, fourth, whatever experience. I'm done. I got what I needed. I know what I know, and I know what I need to do. So it's something to think about. Because you don't have to keep going back. You don't even have to do it at all. I think.
It's all, in my opinion, it's all within you.
It's
So
it's already there.
it's already there. It's just a matter of opening up your senses, both internally and externally.
hmm Yeah.
And
And
that helps you to access it. But in the end, it won't. It's not a key. It's like a path or a sign that points you in the right direction,
signs, definitely signs.
or a wave that takes you like closer to shore, but you got to still swim, or
Yeah.
you got to know where shore is.
Yeah. So, like, I went around chasing symbolism, and that's not going to lead you to anything that's going to help. Like Ryan's saying, rabbit holes. Yeah, but the rabbit holes serve a purpose. The rabbit holes do serve a purpose. Like, it creates action. Um, but yeah, you're not going to find the answers of what you need to find out who you are through rabbit holes. And
The symbols are interesting to discuss and study, and I think there is something to be learned out of them in a general way. But like you said, I mean, it's all within you. That's where it is.
and it's within us. It is within
Yeah.
us. It's all of us. It's not just individuals alone. Someone could had this experience and they're this, or someone could have this experience and they're that. But no, it's really all of us together. That's what we're we're in it for. We're not leaving. It's just like a lot of it was we don't leave family behind. Even if you listen to people in the military, you know, leave none of your brothers behind. You know, they're like family. It's the same concept, but it's just expanded into a larger view. Anyways, we could always talk about this more. I don't think I'm gonna forget it.
I have a few questions for you that are more of a technical aspects of it than the experience itself.
Okay.
And we don't have to do that on stream.
Sure. I mean, you got my email.
Yeah.
Anyone else has got my email? It's just in the description box. So, all right. Thank you guys, and
all right. See you later.
guys another night. Thanks.
Be Percy.
Good night.
Bye.
Night, everyone.